Yo, what's good, man?
Oh, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, man? It's been a bit since we've talked.
Yeah. Were you gonna do video or?
Do you want me to turn on my camera?
I mean, you can.
All right. I mean, you can roast my looks if you want. Kind of still have my pajamas on because I'm a lazy bastard.
I'm wearing pajamas too. All right. So,
Doing all right today?
yeah, I'm doing great. So tell me why you don't think it's fucking terrorism, you absolute fucking lunatic.
Yeah. All right. So for starting on that note, hold on. I'm gonna turn on my fucking light so I don't look like a fucking 12-year-old. So why do I not think it's terrorism? I think terrorism is a little bit harsh of a statement. I think
what they did, they jumped. It was insurrectionist actions, right? Like these things aren't mutually exclusive.
Yeah. I definitely think insurrection is like. I think insurrection is definitely the right word for it because I don't know. I was born in, my family's from Chechnya, and terrorism has a little bit too harsh of a strain on it. Like, I think it's I think racism is also kind of an overword, like one of those words that are also overused. And I think fascist is also one of those words that are overused as well.
Well, sure.
Hold on, I'm just hearing myself echo in your stream. Let me just turn that off. Oh
okay,
my God.
So all of these things, I can agree to an extent, but we also have to be able to, like, just because some dumb libs use it too much, doesn't mean that these words don't have meanings, and it doesn't mean that we can't use these words correctly. I feel like when I call people a fascist, when I decide to call someone a terrorist, when I decide to call someone, any fucking label.
Have you called redneck all of those so far?
No, I've not called Redneck a fascist yet, and I don't think I've called him a terrorist. I think he's a dumb
racist.
I've called him a racist. Fuck that guy.
Ooh, what was the debate topic? Or was it just a tweet?
It was
because I know you're a little aggressive on your tweets sometimes.
Yeah, I'm very aggressive on Twitter. It was during the big blow up debate with him where he kept on saying that it's not racist to attack a church, like a historically black church. I was like, do you not understand? There's a fucking.
You mean like the terrorist attack, like the Charleston one?
No, it was the one where the Proud Boys pulled off a BLM flag and were damaging church property during it was just a couple of weeks ago. And
why it wasn't, and he was defending why it wasn't racist.
Fuck, I don't remember what his argument was. I would have to go back and watch the thing, but I called him a racist during that, and someone got me to walk it back a couple of days later. But from everything that I've seen in the past couple of weeks, it just reinforces what I thought before. So,
right. So I'm not a massive fan of Redneck. Me and him have our disagreements, and I don't like debating him anymore because he just ends up yelling at me. And it's like
he's impossible to talk to.
Exactly. It's not like the difference between him and CTV. CTV does feed into the same kind of rhetoric from the far right, but the difference is that I just feel like you can actually talk to CTV without him actually just barraging you with yelling, And I feel like the debate doesn't get turned into complete mush from complete yelling and just feelings,
No, there's in all the times I've talked to CTV, there's only been one time where where I've devolved into yelling, and that was after a fucking 2-hour circular conversation. But
sounds fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that calling these people terrorists or domestic terrorists is a completely apt word to use. They specifically did violent acts to achieve political goals that were not only deadly to themselves but to an officer at the Capitol. They were planning on taking
2 officers actually.
2 officers now? Fuck me.
Yeah. I think it's been 2 days or something.
Yeah, there were people there with zip ties that were going to take our representatives hostage. They had fucking Molotov cocktails to burn the motherfucker down. These people were terrorists, and when we see something and it applies, it makes sense to call these people the label that applies to them.
Right. So do you categorize Antifa as terrorists?
I
'Cause
don't.
if you
think
do,
so.
then you should be
I
using
don't think
the
so.
same logic, right? You
Right.
don't.
I know. Like I think that you could make the same argument for it, like for sure. But I think,
Right.
oh fuck me, you know what? This is kind of the conversation that me and Redneck were having. It was about Proud Boys and Antifa, right? And I
Right.
think that there is a very easy way to try and like separate realistically the differences between the people that stormed the Capitol and the people that were at BLM marches. Okay.
But I'm gonna not BLM marches, Antifa, and I'm gonna say this argument. If you don't think Antifa's a terrorist organization or Proud Boys, right? They've both killed people. They've killed more people than the people who were killed at the Capitol. Way more people, right? I mean,
I'm not worried about the.
one night alone, they killed 6 people in Seattle.
Okay,
Antifa and
I'm
Proud
not
Boys.
sitting here like defending the death
Far
toll
left.
of any fucking.
But here's the difference. You won't hear like listen. I'm a lefty, right? I'm not a righty at all. I don't feel any connection with the right. But I do think they have a point when they say, okay, well, Antifa should be characterized as a terrorist organization as well. If the people who stormed the Capitol are, right? They're both being fueled up by representatives, and they're both being fueled up by political aisles.
Not. Absolutely. Like number one,
How? How?
Okay, hold on. Yeah, exactly. So number one, Antifa is usually a very like local organization that responds to very specific things. So when it comes to Antifa, if you see like fashion, like number one, Antifa doesn't just like go out and do black bloc, which is the like I'm going to go out and punch a fascist, bash the fash. They do like a bunch of fucking things that are completely disconnected from that are also considered anti-fascist action. You can look at the person that hacked into Parler and gathered all the photo information and released that to the FBI. That is literally anti-fascist action. So like it doesn't. It's not like just a violent organization in the first place. Number two, also the motivations. Also, the motivations behind things can make things a lot more defensible, and the way they go about doing things. If you're going to the Capitol building, storming it to try and overturn an election and literally overturn democracy in our country, it's a lot different than fighting against a police institution that is actively harming the people in your city, that is actively defending people like the Proud Boys, that is actively black bagging in the case of like, what was it, Seattle or Portland, where they were black bagging people, throwing them into unmarked vans. Yeah, probably both. Throwing them into the back of unmarked vans and then not releasing them for several fucking days. Like, so it's completely a different set of circumstances why they're protesting.
Right. But you have to keep in mind what these people have been lied to about, right? They've been lied to about the fact that their election was stolen. They feel as if their vote didn't even matter, and obviously we agree that it wasn't stolen at all. In my opinion, I think the argument that sure some states didn't follow the state laws that the legislator put forth. Yeah, I think that's an argument that should be met with serious debate. But these people have been lied to by their public officials, by the president. Okay. And they've been fueled by it, right? So in their minds, they think that the government needs to be, changed for the better. Hold on. I'm back.
Yeah.
That was awkward. But, right.
I understand what you're saying.
They think that systemic change has to be made because the government – I'm just saying from their point of view, obviously I disagree with that, right? I think the election wasn't stolen at all. I think they should do a revote because the Wisconsin state legislature was not even followed. But I don't think that's enough to overturn anything.
Okay,
do you kind of see what I'm saying? It's like
no, I mean like I see what you're saying, but again, like even like if you're fighting for a cause and like you really believe in it, like sure. But we also like hold mentally insane people that go out and like eat people's faces legally accountable in some way. Mm-hmm. We don't like fucking just say, oh, well, he didn't take his medication that day. So he went and ate someone's face. He still will be put into jail. He's not going to be.
What I'm saying is that you said that Antifa's fighting for rights, right? Which we agree. but in their in the
right.
in
But
the
if they were fighting, if
performers'
they were doing
minds,
the
they
exact
are
same
also doing
thing,
the
if
same
they were doing
thing.
the same thing and it was completely unverifiable and it was all fucking conspiracy bait and there was nothing to justify what they were doing, I would be saying the exact same thing about them. But their shit is absolutely 100% verifiable. It can be seen in every single data set
Right.
that's released by the U.S. government on their own fucking crime statistics.
But Sondsol, once again, these people are looking at their evidence and they think
Yeah,
the
but their
same
evidence
thing.
is
But the
bullshit,
same-
and
but I
so many
know,
people
we
are
agree, we
debunking
agree.
it.
But
But
at some point, they both kill. Right? They're both organizations that kill people. Proud Boys and the Antifa and the Stormers.
again,
right?
like you keep on saying they're organizations that kill people. Antifa isn't an organization. I know
Yes, it is. There's chapters. There's a YLF, which has over 1 million members.
So the YLF is an organization. I don't know what the fucking YLF is, but Antifa is not an organization.
Yeah, they kind of are. I mean, really, I can join my local chapter right now. They're just as much of an organization as Proud Boys
Oh
are.
fuck! I guess I should just look up Antifa chapter right now and find the fucking leader of Antifa and see where I can get my fucking badge. Like that's like you. Like I don't want to sound like patronizing right here, but like how old are you? Like honestly.
So this is where it's gone to. Okay. All right.
Well, I'm curious.
I knew this was going to go so. I knew this was the end destination of where.
Well, we're not nearly at the end. I'm very invested in this conversation, but I'm curious because because listen, I'll give you a reason why I ask. Because there's a context that a lot of young people, I include my little brother in this as well, that they don't have the same context growing up and seeing this escalate in the same way that people of my age group or older have, right? And that's why I ask, because this isn't like the escalation of right-wing violence in this country, the escalation of the BLM groups, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the escalation of the response to BLM, like, given all of these things, I understand why I don't like condone the violence necessarily that comes from Antifa or BLM riots and shit like that. But I can understand that, right? I can totally understand that because I have seen how it's happened over the past fucking 10, 15 years. And I can compare that to what's happened with the conservatives, where they have latched on to every single fucking conspiracy theory since fucking Obama's birth certificate, and they've taken it to such a far extent to where it's now QAnon. Okay, now I'm sorry if it sounded super condescending to ask your age, but that's why I ask your age, because there is a huge contextual reason why it feels very strange to be making these equivalencies.
So I'm 19. Okay. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It does a little bit, yeah.
Okay. So I don't really like giving out my age, which is actually weird.
Oh, you could have just said you didn't want to give it out on stream. Like that would have been fine. Any information you don't want to give out for privacy, just fucking say privacy reasons.
All right, fine. I live in Seattle, Washington as well.
Shut up.
And
anyways,
my address. I live right next to the
Yeah. Go ahead and tell me what your next point was going to be, bud.
Okay. So I think I've said all that there is to say. I've seen the brutal media mistreatment of African Americans until more recently, where they tried to jump on this train where they were really pro African American rights the whole time, and it's ridiculous. Actually,
they still do it. They still do the.
They still mistreat them. I mean, I was growing up, and I saw some ridiculous news stories about, and it really showed the media bias against African Americans. And it's only been recently where they tried to act as if they were like immediately just progressive, and I'm not falling for it, right? I'm not falling for it because they're just corporations at the end of the day, and they're always going to be a corporate entity, and they're always going to feed into.
Sure, as long as the corporations are like doing less harmful stuff, I don't think I'm going to condemn them for doing less, making black people look bad after they've been killed by cops. I don't know what you're saying here.
What I'm saying,
yeah,
is that I've been around long enough to see the media bias against African Americans. I've seen a lot of biases.
Okay.
I understand systemic racism pretty well, considering I want to completely reform the privatized prison system and our police systems. Although I haven't gotten a finite framework as far as what defunding and the exact budget I would like, I still have a pretty good idea of what I want.
Okay.
But that's a bit off topic.
What I want to know is like, what are you trying to get out of this conversation? What I don't understand is, the weird false equivalencies between the two groups, the lack of wanting to call groups names that apply to them.
I just don't think it applies to them. I really don't. I don't think it should apply to. I don't think it should apply to BLM or Proud Boys either. But I'm saying one could justify that if you do call the people who stormed the Capitol terrorists, then you have to call the other two organizations terrorists as well, because they both meet the parameters. They all meet the parameters.
I again just don't think so. When you get a bunch of people from all over the country to come in and do insurrectionist action, and you compare that to a group like the Proud Boys, yeah, that fits them pretty aptly. Every time that there is a progressive protest or march or anything, you're going to see Proud Boys from all the surrounding states all coalesce on this one spot, because there aren't enough of them in any one spot to actually counter protest effectively. Like, they go out of their way to go and pick fights with progressives and stuff. But when you look at Antifa, you're very rarely seeing, if ever, a shitload of Antifa from all over the fucking country traveling to one specific spot in order to achieve some end goal. It's 99.99% of the time going to be a very, very very local group, if not just like from a couple of like surrounding cities. It's going to be like that local area's population and citizens, people that are in those like chapters of Antifa that like go and try and defend their communities from outside actors like Proud Boys, like the insurrectionists, right?
Yeah.
And that's another big distinction that I take between these people.
Right.
And any streams. I say chapters because that's just how we're having to use it in this conversation. But
right. We agree totally. But like, I just think I think you have to think about it in a right winger's point of view. At the end of the day, it's like they think that at any moment they should they should overturn their government, right? And that's not good. That is technically domestic terrorism, but it in their minds, it's what the founders. Do you think
ISIS thinks that they are terrorists, or do you think that they are freedom fighters?
In their minds or our minds?
In their minds.
So in their minds, they probably think of themselves as freedom fighters.
So should I not call them terrorists because they think that they're freedom fighters and they think that they're fighting for a good cause? Or can I accurately describe them by using...
But the difference is the number of people who are getting killed and what's actually happening.
How many people? Right? What is the exact line that we have to say? Like, this many people have killed. Now this is a terrorist organization. Or can we say that? That seems like a really wild line to draw, because you can have lone wolf domestic terrorists, right? They could kill like one person. It could be a domestic terrorist or action.
So is it fair to say that there were domestic terrorists at the Trump rally, but not everybody there were domestic terrorists? Or the same way you would say that the people who stormed certain courts in Oregon, for example, who were part of BLM, are not all domestic terrorists, just the people who assaulted people,
Okay, so you're saying that because they stormed government buildings?
Like the people with the zip ties, yeah, I definitely say they're domestic terrorists. But
Again, why are but here's my thing. This is the problem that I have every time I have a conversation with someone that believes this, is that we're like trying to pick out like, oh, well, there might have been like a few bad actors, but it was just a bunch of people that like kind of felt like they were doing the right thing when they burst into the fucking Capitol building and they were all like breaking in and destroying stuff and smearing shit on the walls and attacking police officers and trying to overturn the election that we had legally, and there was no evidence of massive voter fraud ever produced by the group of people that said that there was voter fraud. Like, at what point do I get to say, like, these people were engaging in terrorism? Like, how many people do I have to pick out specifically before I just say, you know what, there were a lot of fucking terrorists in that group, and we have to fucking call them out for the terrorist fucking action they did, the fucking insurrectionist action. Maybe there were like some people outside. I would say that there were more there were more terrorists there, and that we can pick out specific people that were like, hey guys, maybe we shouldn't be breaking into the Capitol right now. There were probably like a good 2 dozen people like that were in that crowd that there might be videos of, but the overwhelming majority of people that decided to fight the cops, bear mace the cops, break into the Capitol, try and find their way into the fucking House and Senate chambers. Like, these people, they are domestic terrorists. These people are insurrectionists.
You have stuff against assaulting cops?
I think that it's probably a bad idea if you don't have a good fucking reason for doing it.
Mm-hmm. But right again. So it's our own government's fault. It's our own. At the end of the day,
no, it's literally Trump's fault. It's
exactly.
It's literally Trump. It's fucking Ted Cruz. It's fucking.
It's literally. I mean, but
again,
they're like you can at the end of the day.
If a mob boss, if a fucking mob boss tells people, like, he's like, hey, you guys, I want you to go over there. You see Slick Jimmy over there? I don't want to fucking see him over there anymore. And five of his cronies go over there and they fucking beat the shit out of him and shoot him in the head. Do you still arrest those 5 people? Do you still arrest those 5 people? Or no?
I think the analogy to be used is to say, what if the people who own the factories said to their union workers, hey, Look at those immigrants over there. They are the reason that you don't have a job. And then they go over there and beat them up, right? I think that's the analogy to use. And at the end of the day, it would be the executives.
No, it would be all of those people. Trump. It would still be all of those people. It would be.
But they've been lied to. They've been lied to and manipulated by the government and by the media.
The best analogy that we could use is this: a church pastor says to go over to a organization's house, say to City Hall, say Joel Osteen tells his church to march on to fucking City Hall in Houston and fucking take it over. It's a holy war. Let's fucking go. Right. And they go in there and they start fucking killing people. Are we still going to hold them accountable because they think that they have to do this in order to get to heaven? Fuck yes, we are, because that's what we do. When people fucking break into fucking government buildings, try and take people hostage, try and fucking kill people. Yeah, that's what we're going to fucking do. We're going to hold people accountable when they break the fucking law like this.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I agree that these people should be arrested and stuff. But once again, the label of domestic terrorist is extreme, considering that it's the executive's fault, in this case, the Trump administration, and the media's fault for misleading them like that. They are technically victims of.
I don't know how much, at what point we decide to start assigning, at what point do we start assigning, culpability to people? They're still engaging in the action. How do we, I don't want to treat with kid gloves people that bust in the fucking head of a cop with a fire extinguisher and all the people around him cheering him on. All right. Right. I don't want to treat these people with kid gloves because, Trump lied to them. I just hate the fact that, they got fooled so hard. I don't want to treat these people with kid gloves because that's fucking asinine. That's fucking crazy.
Well, I think these people are idiots. I really do. And I think I'm going to keep treating them with kid gloves because they are kids. They're like kitty kids.
There are some, again, I think that the idea that we have to be targeted with who we treat with kid gloves. There are some people we can treat with kid gloves that are Trump supporters. Sure, that's fine. But if there's people that stormed the fucking Capitol, I'm not going to treat them with kid gloves. If it's someone like fucking redneck that's still actively calling for insurrection on Twitter today,
I've been
I'm still not going to.
with kid gloves until more recently, which
I'm not going to treat him with kid gloves because fuck them. These people are
it's
advocating
people
for more violence.
I mean, I told him, and I said, it's people like you. It's your guys' fault. It really is. It really is. You are the one who indoctrinated them. And I think a lot of the GOP is also responsible for this at the same time, right?
Well, of course, I'm not saying that they are not culpable, right? Of course, Trump is still the person that told people to all gather at DC that day, and it's going to be wild, and then use all this strong rhetoric about, we're going to go in there, we're going to show them who's boss, or whatever the fuck he said. And then they go in there and they fucking showed them who's boss, right? And then fucking Josh Hawley and fucking
Sorry, you have to take a drink of water. I kind of just used hydrate.
I finished my drink right before our discussion. I'll have to get another one.
That's honestly too bad.
But yeah, I'll go grab another one right after this. But these people are also still to blame. But am I not going to blame the motherfuckers that still went through with it? No. Like I'm still gonna fucking blame them.
Right. I'm not excusing their behavior, but once again, I think just
I don't even think I can understand it.
Are a harsh statement. I think it's just a harsh statement.
What would you call them?
Insurrectionists.
Okay, and what are yes, and how did they go about doing insurrection? Terrorists and insurrectionists. These are not
mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah. You can be an insurrectionist.
I think the fine difference is that there were domestic terrorists in the group. Once again, not everybody was a domestic terrorist. People who have been indoctrinated in the Trumpism are not domestic terrorists and did not go there with the intention to kill.
Okay, but if you don't if you don't intend to kill someone, but you still kill someone in a riot?
No. The people who beat the guy with a fire extinguisher, I am not excusing. The other cop that I think was he trampled to death, or do we even know?
I don't know what happened to the other cop. I didn't know a second cop had died.
Oh, until I told you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, however he died, right? Which I'll assume is trampling for now. I mean, there are people who did do the hang Mike Pence after that, and I think it's literally because of Trump. I mean, I
just don't think that because Trump told them to do that, they bear any less responsibility than they would have.
Manson family.
Yeah.
I think Charles Manson should be held responsible.
Yeah,
Manson is literally like Trump in this case.
Yeah, should all the people that kill the fucking people, his little cult, should they be?
You're in support of impeachment, right?
Yeah, I am in support of impeachment.
And because of this, or because of other stuff?
Specifically because of this. Honestly, if he had just fucking laid low for the last couple of days, I would have just said fucking go.
Right. Instead of attacking Pence and people who actually called the National Guard and did the right thing.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
It was specifically fomenting the riot, telling people to go there. Even if it was negligent, it was even if he's just too fucking stupid to know that he was about to send a bunch of crazy armed angry motherfuckers over to the Capitol. Negligence is still fucking no excuse to do shit like that, especially as the president of the United States.
Well, Sondsol, I'd love to talk to you about this more, but believe it or not, I actually have a podcast that I have to do, and I got invited to do a podcast finally with TRN.
Wow.
I'll unban you actually.
Oh yeah,
I will unban.
Hey, if you can send me whatever that fucking link is where you said that I called all of them racist, No, I was seeing if you had that link that people have been showing him, because that Mark Murda guy is super fucking manipulative. I still right. Here's my thing.
He made shit up about one of my guys that I brought in, and he was like, "Yeah, you just said the N-word on stream," and I was like, I was literally there the entire time. I had the thing on recording.
He doesn't want any like left leaning person that can put up any fight.
He almost got me out. He almost got me out until Jace noticed that I was gone, and then he was like, "What the fuck are you doing, Mark? Like, what are you doing?" Right. So, Tara, anybody else want to get unbanned? Because right now I've got you second, right?
Me second.
Dude,
what?
oh, you got me clipped. Trump is basically Charles Manson. That's funny as fuck, man. Hold on.
Well, hey, buddy. Yeah, if you get me unbanned from TRN, I'd love to jump on the show on fucking Tuesday.
I'd love for you to destroy Mark. I mean, Mark is like a sport. It's becoming a sport for me because he's really, really bad. He's really bad at debating, and him and Rob suck. Like really, really suck at debating.
I don't know the Rob guy.
I mean, they just get mad. I mean, they just start yelling, and then it just doesn't even get funny. Like Redneck does it too, but Redneck at least is like so loud that your eardrums aren't even working, so you just can't even speak. Where everybody wants to get unbanned.
Yeah, it's really fucking like crazy how he says that he's like the fucking guy, like this will always be an open platform, and then he's like, someone might have said something mean about me. It's okay, like, so bro, come on.
You're next up on the so Sondsol's first on the unbanned list because I already unbanned whose username, and I can only unban one person a day. So Franny, what did you get banned for? I know your environment Seattle literally got banned for the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my life. Like he was.
Uh-oh. My internet didn't cut out, did it? Or was it his? Uh-oh. Oh, no. Well. Let me see what.
Can you even please? Can you even believe that?
Sorry, your internet cut out for like the past 30 seconds.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I was just saying that I'm gonna go eat, and then I'm gonna do the podcast.
All right. Well, report back and tell me how it goes.
Yeah. No. I just can't even fucking swear in his podcast.
Oh no.
So, yeah, because it's like made up of like old people, and he makes money off of it too because he's sponsored.
Seattle. Yeah, Seattle is asking why he was banned.
No, you were banned because Mark is a little fucking baby. That's why. Because of Mark babyhood. Okay. You have a good one, bro.
Catch you later, buddy. Bye.
Love you too. Love you more.
All right, bye, buddy. The only person I say I love you back is fucking Shark. All right. He's the only guy that's got my fucking love. All right.